You know what time of year it is? It's hog killing time. Now, you know what that means? That means we've got some good eating all the way around. And I had my first run at it this year. We built our pig pen in the spring, and what a nice, fancy, wonderful pig pen it was. John Casper helped me with that, and his brother. We got that put up, got everything put on a pad, on a slope, and it turned out pretty well. I liked it. I raised 2 pigs, and I was gonna do it myself, but I have been running around like a crazy person, so I decided to get some fellas in Lawrenceburg. That's Burkhead and Darnell. Rex used to be a game warden years ago, so I called him. I knew he had this business, so he came out, and they had all the equipment needed to get these pigs on board, get them cut up, get them ready to go, and head down the road. Saved me a lot of time and energy. Now, the next person I'm going to bring on board is my good buddy, Jay Caskey. Now, Jay, you and I have run around for 150 years, and it seems like our paths keep crossing. I'll kind of get interested in this, and you get interested in this right over here. And they're kind of on the same parallel, but you take a little different jag, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting to me. Of course, it's all outdoor related and fun, and cooking and eating related. But over the years, you've kind of gone in ways that I've not gone. And you've kind of taken things a step further when it comes to the actual processing of the meat. Now, I think that's kind of cool, and I want to show everybody this right here. Now, he wouldn't have even done this if I hadn't asked him to, but look at that right there. Explain what that is.
It's a blue ribbon from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It was a top 10 award amateur event for processing country ham. And did a lot of research and background and took one to the state fair.
First time ever. Ham?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Now that's saying something.
Yeah. And I encourage everyone to get involved with it, I'm telling you.
Now, if you don't raise pigs and you want to get a ham, you can do this. You can go to UK. Tell me how you can get a ham or even some side of bacon.
Yeah, you can go. University of Kentucky has a lot of knowledge and a lot of your ham producers. You can call them up. They'll give you information on what to do, maybe not what to do. And lo and behold, you can buy these what they call green hams. They're fresh hams off the hog, and then you can bring one in, process it, rub it down, and take
good
off
to go.
there.
Now, today we're going to revisit the bacon curing recipe that did it. But first, we haven't really done this with you. This is your way to do a nice country ham. And we're going to see. Of course, this is just today.
Yeah.
Today, I just picked this up.
That's right.
Now, there's probably a little bit of fat on there you're going to trim off. Just kind of tell us what you're doing and talk us through it.
We're going to trim off some of the excess fat that's on there. He didn't overfeed them. He has some nice, healthy pigs, I can tell you that from what I'm looking at here. What we're going to do is trim some of this off so that way the salt can get into it to cure. And what I'm going to try and show folks is that these hams are not as salty anymore as what they once used to be.
Now, these pigs were, I would say, pampered.
Yeah.
And they ate really good.
Did you name them?
Well, you know, typically you're not supposed to do that, but
right.
I was going to name them Orville and Wilbur.
Yeah.
You know, I would think.
Yeah.
Nikki saw one of them that was always kind of mean to the other one, so she called him Cain and Abel. So you don't want a whole lot of fat. You want to
get it in there to cure the meat. Let that salt, sugar get down in there. One of the main things that we want to pay attention to when we're going to salt cure this ham is the hock. And that's the end here next to where the part of the foot and that came off, and down in this area, as you notice, I'm sticking my finger down there. I want to try and get, when we go to put the salt cure to it, every bit down in there that we can. And I mean pack it in there. Don't spare it. This one here is opening up nicely. Thought I might have to use a butter knife or something to get
Now the
there.
reason for that being that there are some areas that around a bone or something like that, where if you don't put enough in there, what will happen?
It's sour and
We
the
don't
meat
want that to
will
happen.
no.
So the whole process of this curing thing is basically taking the salt, and the salt will draw the moisture out.
That's right. We got what we call
and add
shrinkage.
flavor.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cook this thing up. Then what do you do with it? What's the next step after you get it all packed down?
After we get it packed down, we're going to wrap it up in 100% what I call butcher's paper. There's no wax like is on this to
We just
protect
put this
the
on to protect the counter,
Yeah.
but that's butcher.
That's what we call butcher's paper. Anything will bleed through it, you know, what have you,
Gotcha.
and that's what you want, so this can breathe.
Gotcha.
And but we're going to rub it down, wrap it in the white paper, and then we're going to put it in a sock,
Okay.
tie a knot in it, and we're going to hang it up. And in that process of time, it normally takes about 3 months. And when we hang this ham up, we want it to stay in an environment of around 40 degrees or less, down to about 35. And like this ham, it'll go down in, like tonight's temperature is going to be 25.
Right.
So this ham's going to be cooling out. Because now it gets, say, 55 tomorrow, the ham's still fine because he's cooled out enough to where, and he's cool right now where he's been in this locker.
Right.
We stick a thermometer in, this ham is probably somewhere about 38 degrees.
Right.
And so tonight, 25, he's gonna get on down there some more. Tomorrow, it's not gonna happen.
40.
Yeah, because the sun's not gonna get to him in the smokehouse, of course, and heat it up, and most of the smokehouses are in shady areas. Or you can take this ham, and if you have an extra refrigerator, you can hang him up in that.
All right, now, why is it important to weigh your ham? I see you have a scale over here.
To weigh the ham, we want to try and get 23% shrinkage.
Gotcha.
And the reason why is the longer the salt stays on, and of course, the saltier the ham's going to be.
Right.
So I'm going to take that one out when it hits on its mark. I'm bringing it out. I'm going to take the paper off of it, the sock off of it, wash him all down, let him dry, then resock him with the netting, hang him back up, and he's ready to go. You know, for especially if you're going back to the fall holiday.
All right, what do we do now?
What we'll do now is going to get our salt cured. And I've already mixed it up, and I can tell you what it consists of so everybody out there can do it.
All right, here's the point right now where you get your pencil and your paper and get ready to write something down, because Jay's going to give us his top secret gabillion-dollar recipe. That's worth $1 gabillion on a new Ford truck. All right, what do you put in there?
We're going to put 8 pounds of salt, and that can be table salt. Try different salts, there's really not any difference in them. And then 2 pounds of brown sugar, dark brown. And then 4/10 pound of red pepper. And then the other one is 4/10 pound of black pepper.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Now see, here's what I like about the way you're doing things and the way that I'm trying to do things. I've seen so many people put these, and I know everybody's got their own thing, but
Yeah.
you know, the nitrates and the nitrates and all that stuff. I really like the fact that we're doing this with just those pure ingredients. And the way that we're going to do the bacon,
Right.
again, we're going to revisit that because we did it last year, and we've got an inside situation where the light's good, and I want to revisit that. Well, let's get your stuff out and let's pack her down. I know where this pig's been. Isn't that the great thing about today? You know, we can find folks who are raising, you know, stuff here in Kentucky, proud of what they're doing. We know where it comes from. If you have the opportunity to do it yourself, I'd highly recommend it.
Now here's an important part, like we talked about the hog before. You're going to see, I'm going to be putting a lot of the mixture down into this hog.
Just jam it full
Jam it full, and I recommend all you can put in it.
until it stops.
Yeah.
You know, we used everything on that pig. You know the hair on the pig? That's what I make toothbrushes out of. That's good. I'm kidding, Jay.
And you can do this to bacon too if you want to. All right, that's the basic rub right there, and then we're going to start putting the paper on him, and we're going to put some more on him. We're not going to spare any salt. I'm going to get some of this butcher's paper right here. If you'll hold him up right there, just like that. All right. And I'm going to slide this under here just like kind of like that. And that's the first thing I want to do is I want to get that paper on there. There's no real formula to this. We just wrap paper on them. I'm gonna get another piece. You're gonna hold that right there.
Sure. And you can get this butcher paper just about anywhere.
Butcher shops, they all have the real McCoy. I just go in and ask them if I can buy about 10 feet of it to do a couple hands. And There we go.
Now, I'd say back in the day, they probably used newspapers or whatever they had around, didn't they?
Absolutely. And if you'll kind of hold that right there, I'm gonna get a sock over here.
And where do you get those at? Butcher shop as well?
Yeah, I got online and found those. Open this up just a second. I want to put some of this excess in there while we're at it. It's not gonna hurt anything. You can put it 1/4 inch deep if you want, or 1/2 inch, whatever you want on it. Doesn't matter, because once it takes a cure and it gets to what you want, you're gonna take it back open and open it back up, and everything's gonna be ready to go. So.
Were you kind of surprised once you started doing the research at how not difficult this is?
I was really, really shocked, and I'll tell you something else. I was very, very impressed with the people that I contacted in doing the research on it, of how they were so willing to help you, and so nice and kind, and it's pretty awesome to me just to see it. And once you get it up top, you just give it a twirl around and tie her up in a knot.
There's something you said is pretty important you have to remember.
Hang it hock down. And that's
Meaning, for those who don't know what hock is.
Yeah, that's where the foot had been removed from it. Like I was showing, we put all the salt into that hock and then wrapped it up first, hold it in there. When you go to hang it, when it's in the sock, the knot's gonna be up on the top where it was taken off the side of the hog, but that hock needs to hang down, and that way it can drain that way too. Yep.
Now, from this point, you get it to that temperature that you want it and let it sit for how long?
About 6 weeks before I check it. And then I'm looking for weight at that point to get our 23%.
So let's talk about from the time that you've done this to putting it in your mouth and eating it. How long you gotta wait?
I'd say with that dude right there, I'd wait about 6 months to get the best taste, best flavor, whole 9 yards. That's what.
So we're going to work through this process. This is part 1. So when the next step rolls around, we'll come out here and fire up some smoke and do all that kind of stuff. But let's put him where he needs to go, and then we'll talk about some bacon.
All right.
We're going to take this down and put it in my outhouse. It looks like an outhouse. Everybody makes fun of it, but man, I'm telling you, we've had a lot of fun with that. A buddy of mine made that for me. And really, you don't have to have anything fancy. All you have to have something that's enclosed.
Right. Yeah, you don't need a large area. Before, when smokehouses were built, they fed large families, working families, farm people. So they had a lot of hams hanging in the ceilings of those. But now we're doing in the small, so smaller's better, so you can get the smoke to it.
Concentrate
get the job
in that
done.
area. We set this up right here. I just took an old turkey cooker base right there.
Yep.
And I put my propane in there and got a little can here. And all I do is turn it on low heat. It gives you a little bit of heat.
Right.
You can get some heat there, but more than anything, it gives you that constant fire to keep your your smoke rolling.
That's right. And like I said, down below, 95 to 115, 120. That's a range.
You don't want any more than that.
Yeah. No, it's called cold smoking.
Now something we're going to do in a couple of days, about 8 days. We're going to have to move him out of the way and let him sit over in the shade for a little while. Yeah. Because we're going to be rolling some smoke on some bacon.
That'd be good.
Best bacon I've ever had. Now that we've got my pig back, I want to revisit that because we did that before. But let's go back inside, get a slab of bacon out, and show how to cut it up into manageable sizes so you can do this in your own refrigerator.
That's right.
And again, whether or not you've raised a pig, you can go buy a side of bacon, raw.
Right. Yeah.
You know
what's in it?
3 ingredients.
Yep.
No pig salt.
No.
Let's go do it.
And some smoke.
I'm getting hungry.
I am too.
Let's lock her down. Now, when did you start on this ham?
This ham was done last year. I started on it in February. And this was actually done inside of a refrigerator all the way through its curing process.
Now, how much did that weigh when you started it?
This ham weighed 23 pounds when I started. 14.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, that ready to eat?
This one's ready to eat. And a lot of folks too, when you see one of these hams, if you notice in the store, and you walk in the store, you'll see hams hanging. 90% of them are hanging with a white paper bag over them. And the reason why is inside, and this one here just came out of the smokehouse. We've done nothing to it, haven't touched it or anything. And this ham has, as you can see the mold on it. And all you do is get you a good little scrub brush, get him over in the sink. All of them have it, so it's not a surprise to anyone. What he looks like.
If you know about your cheeses, all have mold on them.
Right.
So that's how it looks, man, right there.
That's it.
You just slice and dice and ready to go. And look, you've had some packaged here. Here's what you looks like when you have it. If you want to seal it.
Oh yeah,
Man,
it's
I'm telling
final
you
done, cut up. That's from the other one.
That looks delicious.